There's a lot of misinformation and straight up circulating the internet when it comes to music production. And this is particularly true for hardstyle because there's just not a lot of credible characters in our space to provide the right information. So for this video, we'll do a bit of myth busting. We'll look at some common tips and tricks and misconceptions in hardstyle and see if there's actually any truth to them. It's going to be a good mix of tips for leads, kicks, and general mixing advice for hardstyle. So without further ado, let's get into it. Myth number 1. You should always square off your pitched hardstyle kick. This tip dictates that you should aim to give your kicks a really clipped profile, because this will make it sound better or perform better in a hardstyle track. Well, let's put that to the test. What we have here is a kick that is obviously very dynamic in nature. The punch is significantly raised in comparison to the tail, and the tail itself has some dynamics to it. It's not completely squared off, it actually has a bit of dynamic nature. And what we're going to compare it to is the same kick that has been completely squared off. It measures the same in terms of loudness and in terms of low end energy, but it's squared off instead of being very dynamic. Let's take a listen to them solo and then in the context of a track and see if there's any difference. So the two variants sound different, but objectively speaking, there's not one of them that sounds better. The kick itself doesn't sound better when it's squared off, and the mix doesn't seem to perform better either. I think this myth comes from the fact that when you look at a hardstyle kick in the context of a track, it always looks completely squared off. But the reason it's squared off is because it's layered with everything else. Leads, screeches, tons of reverb and so on. This doesn't mean that the kick itself is squared off in the project. The kick can be very dynamic by itself, but when layered with everything else, it will almost always look squared off. So should you always clip your pitched kicks? Nope. It's a myth that comes from misinterpreting kicks inside hardstyle tracks. Myth number 2. You can make better leads with more layers. So the idea here is that for every additional layer you add to your hardstyle lead, it gets bigger, it gets fatter, and it gets wider. Basically, you need to add many layers in order to reach that professional level of complexity and density. Well, let's take a look at how many layers are actually needed for that top level sound. Here's Shivers by Debunking, Estefan, and Randy. This lead is made up of 4 total layers, 3 top layers and 1 chord layer. Here's Darkest Hour by Debunking, Estefan, and Sub-Zero Project. This lead is also made up of 4 layers, 2 top layers and 2 chord layers. And here's my track, Ride With Me. And in this example, the lead is made up of 5 total layers, 3 top layers and 2 chord layers. Now, there's nothing wrong with using more layers, there's pros and cons to it, but saying that you can make better leads by using more layers is not true. It's not really the amount of layers that determine how good or bad the lead turns out, and you can't make a lead wider just because you add more layers that have width. What matters is how each layer is used, and with a higher skill level, you can make better use of fewer layers. So is it true that the lead gets better with more layers? Nope, that is a myth. Real quick guys, check out my website. There's helpful free tools like this spectrum analyzer, and if you use Silent One, this preset pack is as good as it gets for hardstyle leads. Scan the code or use the link in the description. Myth number 3. You should always low cut your master to gain more headroom. This is a big one and a universal one in music production. It's far from exclusive to hardstyle, but since we are really hunting for that extra loudness, it's a really common tip in hardstyle. So the tip is you should always use a low cut on the master because that will give you more headroom so that you can push the track louder? Well, let's put that to the test. What I've done is that I've exported the track without any mastering done to it, and by exporting we avoid the irregularities from the synths. Then I've inserted a linear phase EQ with an aggressive low cut at 25 Hz. Usually people will tell you to cut at 20 Hz, but we're gonna cut even higher to see if there's anything to gain here. Now let's see where we're peaking at without the low cut first. So we're peaking at 1.2 above clipping. Now let's try with the low cut and see if we can gain any headroom. And we also peak at 1.2 with the low cut. So in terms of peak level and headroom, there's nothing to gain from having a low cut on the master. Having said that, low cutting can in some cases achieve better results, either psychoacoustically or by making the track interact differently with the limiter. But most people are taught to use this to gain more headroom. And in that case, can we actually gain more headroom by low cutting? Nope, that is a myth.
Nah, that's a myth.
Myth number 4. You need to hit -3 LUFS to be competitive and get released. So, LUFS is a measurement of perceived loudness, and there's this unofficial benchmark in Hardstyle, which is to hit -3 LUFS during the climax. Now, everybody can hit -3 LUFS by cranking a limiter, but hitting -3 LUFS while retaining clarity and avoiding distortion, that's honestly pretty damn hard. And I think there's very few producers in Hardstyle that actually manages to do this consistently. And that begs the question, do we actually need to hit that -3 LUFS to be competitive? Well, let's look at a couple of tracks and see where they land in terms of LUFS. For reference, here's my track Fate, which lands around -3.5 LUFS. Here's Moving On by D-Block, Estefan and Radical Redemption. Here's Retaliation by Rebellion and Ecstatic. Here's the Defcon 1 anthem, Sacred Oath. Here's Favorite Song by Wild Styles and Showtech. Here's Save Me by Sub-Zero Project and Rebellion. And here's The Flame Inside by Headhunters. So, as we can see, there's a wide span of different LUFS across tracks in Hardstyle. It generally ranges between -3 and -5 LUFS, and all of these tracks are successful in their own right, despite only a few of them being -3 LUFS. So, is it necessary to hit -3 LUFS to be competitive? No, not at all. If anything, this shows that there's actually more freedom in this area than most people think. Now, there are some non-negotiables, such as the low end hitting a certain level regardless of the LUFS, and we still need a certain amount of LUFS to be comparable in both playlists and in live scenarios, so we still need to get up there. But if the mix is not ready for -3 LUFS, Defcon 1 anthem, don't feel like you have to push it just to push it. We actually do have some room to breathe here, so having to hit -3 LUFS is also a myth. Guys, I respond to all comments, whether it's a comment about the video or a technical question about music. I love to see your comment, I love to respond, so let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.